A Blessed Gift. Story 30, Light in the Darkness by Virginia. I never ever thought I would become a Catholic. I grew up in a traditional Chinese family, following my parents in their practice of ancestral worship and offering prayers in the temple. My grandfather was a Chinese language clerk who had become increasingly despondent about the discrimination he was experiencing at his workplace. So he had transferred my father to an English medium school. Later, when my father grew up, he often used his connections to help his friends enroll their children in a particular English medium school. However, by the time I came of age for primary school enrollment, the principal of that school had left, and so I was unable to be admitted. Fortunately, my father had a friend who knew Sister Francois, the principal of CHIJ St. Nicholas Girls' School. With his help, I was accepted for a place just 2 weeks before the start of the new school year. I still remember my mother bringing me to buy my school uniform in a building. This building, Caldwell House, still stands inside the compound of Chimes, opposite of which was a man-made grotto with a statue of a lady. I only found out later that it was a statue of Mother Mary. In my 10 years in St. Nick's, I recited the Our Father and the Hail Mary prayers daily, and I knew Mother Mary was the mother of Jesus. However, I did not believe that there was a God in the universe, and I had never ever thought I would become a Catholic. Under the influences of both my mother and the ideological trends at the time, I believed in myself and in forging my own path. I believed that my destiny lay in my own hands, and that as long as I worked hard and persevered, I could do anything I set my mind to. Surely I had no need of a God when I could reach perfection by my own endeavors. I was the firstborn, followed by 2 sisters. One day in the year I turned 17, Mum suddenly sat down in front of me, catching me completely unprepared, and poured out the pain she had been suppressing in her heart. Dad had been unfaithful to her during his recent business trip. She was heartbroken. As for me, I felt like I had been hit by a bullet. What I had always believed in had been totally destroyed. So, one person's weakness could annihilate what was true and good. Nobody was perfect. In the days that followed, Mum would deliberately dress up, even applying makeup, and wait for my father to return. And Dad, surprisingly, would come home early from work every day. But during dinner, he would bury his head in his meal, avoiding looking at Mum seated by his side. Watching this scene, my heart would be cut to the core. Yet, I did not dare cry, as I was afraid that it would sadden Mum even more. But my heart felt deep pain and endless grief for Mum and for myself. I do not remember for how long this situation lasted. One night, I could bear it no longer. Under the cover of night, I walked out onto the balcony that was shrouded in darkness and cried my eyes out, weeping piteously for the collapse of my beliefs and convictions. "Is there anybody in this world who is without sin?" I cried out into the dark night sky. "Yes, I am the one." Suddenly from the darkness, a gentle voice answered in my heart. "Who are you?" I asked. I am the Immaculate Conception, the voice replied. And at that moment, the image of a lady floated into my mind. How can this be? I questioned. Believe in my son Jesus. Through him, all sins will be forgiven. The gentle voice answered. No, I thought to myself, I cannot accept Jesus. He is a man. I do not trust men anymore. But I decided to pray the rosary daily in reparation for the sins of the world. So on that deep, dark night, Mother Mary heard my pleas from her heavenly throne. On that deep, dark night, I began my journey of faith. On that deep, dark night, that glimmering star shone into my murky heart and led me, this persistent atheist, to see my own ignorance. That star in the deep, dark night was my guiding light, leading me to a turning point in my life. That star in the deep, dark night was like the mother of my soul, the pure and spotless Virgin, Mother Mary, under whose loving guidance I returned to her Son, my Lord Jesus Christ. I was finally baptized as a Catholic in 1983, and my mother was baptized in 2012 before she passed away. May that star in the night sky continue to lead me on the path to holiness.